This is Amy Sermon with MaxKnowledge, and I'm speaking again with Jay Hollowell, VP and Training Manager also of MaxKnowledge. Jay, thanks again for joining me.
Thank you, Amy. It's a pleasure to be back.
Well, we're continuing our discussion on placement and career services with you, Jay. A question related to the current economy. We know that the economy has presented challenges for schools in the area of career services and placement. Can you talk about maybe a couple of those challenges?
Absolutely. The economy has certainly had an effect on the employment community, which has also had a residual effect on our graduates. We have potentially a lot of adult learners that are coming back to school to be trained or retrained. We work with them to acquire an excellent set of foundational skills and a good motivation and a career path, but they go back to the same employment industry, so to speak, that they left. Subsequently, they may be competing more than ever with other workers that are also willing to accept the same types of entry-level professional positions. And so this creates a challenge for our graduates, even having the skills and the motivation that they do, because the competition under these circumstances can be so fierce.
Very interesting. Related to some of the challenges that you're seeing because of the economy, I know for example, your workshops, you go over so many best practices. Can you pick out a couple to talk about with us today?
Sure. I would say two categories are favorites, and that's partnerships and branding. With partnerships, I mean, and we referred to this at the end of toward the end of the last interview regarding trends, mentioned that being more of a full service approach with their employers, and that's really the first partnership. I think that given the current challenges in the employment industry and with our graduates, that we need to reposition our partnerships with our employers, not only looking for new employer sources, but maximizing the value of the relationships that we have with our existing employers, particularly the short list, or the ones that really work with us on a regular basis. Excuse me. In that case, these employer partnerships, or the repositioning, means that we want to have a more full-service approach. By that I mean it's still about jobs, graduates, and helping our employers in that sense. But now it's about additional things, additional resources that we can be with our employers, whether or not it's training, whether it's being a liaison for our employers to other particular situations, whether or not it's assisting them with projects and activities that they're involved in. It's a more full-service approach and must be. Partnerships also with our own internal staff as we share information with each other across departments, very important. And then thirdly, partnerships with their students and graduates, building further that graduate accountability for the job search process. So that's one area of best practices, would be in the area of partnerships. The second would be branding. And we kid often at a workshop that you sneeze, you get a Kleenex, or you go get a Xerox copy or a Band-Aid if you have a cut. And these household names have their companies smiling all the way to the bank. But I'm not saying that we would go to that level, but there are many programs out there, Amy, that are teaching the same types of skill sets for the same type of employment opportunities. And so I actually challenge our career colleges that to ask themselves this question, that is, what separates us specifically from the pack, so to speak? What is a unique feature or benefit or characteristic that we can bank on as a brand, so to speak, to enable us to further those partnerships that I spoke about earlier and be a viable force in the community?
Very good, Jay. I know this was really just the tip of the iceberg, but thank you so much with sharing with us a couple of best practices. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Always a pleasure, Amy.